This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the UK's #1 coral selling website, prestigereef.co.uk and reefdork.etsy.com for all your 3D printed aquarium accessory needs. What's up, YouTube? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Prestige Reef Dork Show, an episode that almost didn't happen because about half an hour ago, I was sat in my car driving back from Peterborough, and I got a text from Les, the moderator, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's the live stream tonight," because it's Christmas time, isn't it? And I got no idea what day it is now, so I literally, I don't know, 45 minutes ago, half an hour ago, I'd forgotten. Your light is pointing, is it pointing at the ceiling or something? It looks really weird.
No, it's really weird. It's because it's not quite high enough.
There we go.
So
now I see. Move
Can't
it further back so it doesn't blind you so much.
It is further back, but it's fine. Look, people part with me blurry for ages, so I'm sure they can accept half of me. It just lights up the top.
You look a bit like you're sat around a campsite and trying to shining a torch up above you underneath your chin, like telling a scary story or something.
It gets put in a box. That's fine. I've got a different box to usual. I haven't actually got like a proper stand for it. So, but I'm sure people will survive.
Yes, probably. Well, hello everybody. Welcome. We're going to be talking reefing resolutions today. First thing, if you guys in the chat or in the comments afterwards have got reefing resolutions, tell us what they are in the chat or in the comments. I'm interested to know. I have a couple of, well, kind of, but the trouble is the obvious ones are like do more water changes and test more and stuff, but you know. Anyway, we'll come on to that. You've been busy, Ryan, haven't you?
Have I? What have I been doing that makes you think I've been busy?
You tell me.
No, I've been busy. I've been busy not doing stuff is what I've actually been doing. So obviously I was doing the 30-day series, which came to an end. It hasn't come to an end. It's just paused.
Unofficially.
I got to day 22. Rachel, my girlfriend, actually did video 22, and I realized that was like the peak. That was the peak of the videos, and I was never going to be able to beat it. So, I decided I thought I'd have a break. So I actually haven't continued to film it until yesterday. I started again, but it wasn't on my tank. It's actually on Jamie's tank. I just thought, I thought I'll do an interesting one to get back into it. So it's basically going to end up being like 30 videos in like 45-day series.
Okay, so you're still going to do 30 videos.
I will do 30 videos. Yeah, it hasn't actually like completely killed my love of doing it yet. But it got pretty close, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
So the funny thing was, someone wrote on one of the last videos, they went, "It's easy to do 30 videos if you just show the same content." Like again,
oh yeah, like
if you show the same content,
showing the same thing,
yeah, multiple times, and I'm like, wait, this is my job. If you film your job on a day-to-day basis, you do the same thing. If you see what I mean. So that's
it's like some people, like every now and then you get usually a celebrity doing it for charity or something. You get people who do 100 marathons in 100 days or something ridiculous like that. And at the start, it probably sounds like a great idea. And then like 10 in, you're like, oh my God, what was I thinking?
Well, this wasn't as hard as a marathon a day, but no, I'm glad I did it. And it sorted the water box out. The water box looks absolutely beautiful at the moment. It's like pristine.
Dinos are staying away?
Everyone's saying, why is my light so spooky? I wonder if I can just put it here, if that makes a difference. Does that make it look better or worse?
That's good.
That's more uniform, isn't it?
It's less terrible, yeah.
Less terrible.
Next time I'll come down at some point and we'll sort it because I can fix that. But anyway, so I will finish that partly because, as I said, it motivates me. It's quite fun sometimes. But sorry, Waterbox, it's looking good. The dinos are gone, are they?
Yeah, they've gone. I don't know. They've gone again. They come back. They go again. So I did a water change probably a week ago again. Siphoned all of them out, and now they're just gone. So
It's fun. I saw a video the other day. I didn't actually watch it, but it flashed up on YouTube, and it said the title was something like "My 18-month battle with dinoflagellates."
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, actually thinking about it, every now and then you see someone who's had that like on and off. So
It wasn't going to be a after I looked at the microscope and realized that exactly what it was, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get rid of this in 30 days. Probably not anyway. So do I think it's gone? Probably not. Have I literally just... you can't get rid of them by siphoning them out. So that isn't what's done it. But for some reason, they haven't come back. So we'll... but we'll see. It looks... The other thing I wanted to do, if I extended the 30-day series, I can then put the fish that are in quarantine in the tank. Because the end of quarantine, the end of the video series should have been today, but quarantine ends in like 5 days time. So if I just keep the series going, you can see the masked angelfish go in the tank and all of those little the little dwarf angelfish I've got. I got another angelfish this week actually to add to my collection. I think I have 5 now, maybe 6.
So what have you got so far?
Oh, don't ask me to remember. I've got
Flame,
multi-bar, multicolor, a golden angel, a flameback, and then I have another one which will be the fish of the week. So we'll do that at the end. But what I've realized is I'm going for all of them now. I just think if you can do a big tank with big angelfish, you can do a smaller tank with small angelfish, is my theory. Now, if it'll work, I don't know. But if I put them in batches of 5 at a time, then they might not absolutely like go crazy.
What, is it aggressive or corals?
I'm less worried about the corals. I'm more worried about if they like seriously go for each other. But in theory, it should be the same as tangs, where if you have loads of tangs or if you have loads of big angelfish, they get on. If you have 2, they want to kill each other.
Are you less worried about the corals because you don't care about the corals, or because you don't think they're going to get eaten?
I don't. That tank has always been for fish. That I have a whole farm for corals. If I want to have nice corals, I put them in there. But this is, I just want to have fish that I can't have, if you see what I mean. And it's
not going to be a fish only tank, is it?
No, not a chance. Fish only is boring. Look, to be fair, it's been fish only for ages, and I actually still quite enjoy it. But seeing Christian's tank with all those angelfish in, which obviously you saw a video on it, he has all the dwarf angels as well. So there's no reason I can't fill this tank with coral. It just depends on what corals, and I'm assuming it'll be mostly SPS.
Right. Okay. Have you still got the? So you've still got the golden angel?
Yeah.
How's he doing?
It's hard to say. He is very shy. I see sort of intermittent like flicks of him, but even in a main display tank, you never see them. No. So he will probably stay in there for the
couple of months.
Well, yeah. Like the only way I'm getting him out is if I'm taking everything apart and stripping the whole tank down. So, but I don't think that I will be. I think he's fine in there at the moment. As far as I have no plans to strip that tank down. Basically,
no. If he's doing well and he's got stuff to chew on, then why move him?
Yeah. So that's fine. I'm trying to think what else that I have been up to. Because as I said, I haven't really been doing fish stuff. After finishing, like deciding I wasn't doing the series anymore, I thought, right, I need some time to refresh and have some time off. So I bought myself a GameCube, and that's literally what I've been doing. I've been reliving my childhood, because I last had one, I think, when I was like probably 13, and so I spent the whole day today playing Mario.
It's GameCube. Did that come out after the Super Nintendo, the SNES?
Yes. Oh, that shows how old you are.
So I had a Mega Drive, which was the equivalent of a SNES, and I missed the GameCube. I went to PlayStation after that. So okay, I never saw. I don't know really what that is. So you can play like Mario and stuff on it.
Yeah, it's Mario. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's literally how I've spent my Christmas. I thought I wouldn't. I become very like focused on things. So if I get a game and I want to complete it to the end, so I thought I can't do this when I'm working, so I'm going to do it over Christmas. So why not? So that's what I've been doing.
Very good.
What about you? Anything exciting to report?
So something semi-exciting, which is actually terrifying. So okay. I posted on what's it called, on Humblefish. So my tank is now at the end of the at the end of the fallow period, basically.
Yes.
10th of January is the 3-month period. Realistically, it's probably fine now, but anyway.
Yeah.
And my plan was always, because I treated the fish at the start and then took all the copper out, and then after that found out that the tow-monts can insist on the glass or whatever and then come back after you take the copper out, which is why you're supposed to move fish to a separate quarantine tank to observe after treatment. So I found that out, and I found, so that means that you can't just leave them in the tank, because there's a risk that it'll come back. And I posted on Humble Fish the other day because I was thinking I don't really want to do another round of copper, and I just wanted to. I wondered what the risk is, because to me it feels like quite a low risk of that actually happening. And if it's just one spot, I mean, and if they're not showing signs, it's one of these things that you kind of convince yourself. You're like, it'll be all right. So I posted on Humble Fish. I was like, look, I'm just trying to weigh the risk. What am I? Is this a real danger? What would you do? And 3 people replied saying, just you already know that you need to do it, so just do another treatment.
Yeah.
So I've started doing another treatment, and I started ramping up the copper yesterday. But I tested it and knew what level it was at, and then I looked back at the amount of copper I was adding before, and you've got a reasonable amount in my tank to get it up. So I was adding loads. Not loads, but I was adding a few milliliters at a time. And then this morning I added, I think, another 4 milliliters, and I hadn't tested for 24 hours. But I knew that I was way under. I knew.
Yeah.
That I was way under. So, but this morning I went back and I tested again. I was like, let's just make sure I'm still below where I want, because I want to get to 2.2. So I was like, okay, 2.2 is where I want to get to. 2.5 is the level that most people do at, like the highest level. 2.95 it was at.
Wow. Interesting. And they're all fine.
Well, so the thing is, what triggered me, I put food in, and the wrasse was he was like looking at the food but not eating it, and then he'd put a bit in his mouth and spit it out, and I was like, that's weird, because he's been gobbling it up nicely. So I tested, and it had only been at that level for a couple of hours, fortunately. So I instantly did. I mixed up salt in 5 minutes and did a small water change, and it got down to 1.55. So it's now actually lower than I'd like, but that's fine. So by tomorrow, it will be at 2.2 again. So I had a small panic.
I don't trust any of the calculators. I literally put in a very, very small amount and then test, and a very small amount and test, and then I also work out how much that has increased it. So if you put it in and it's increased it by like 0.3, if you put the same amount in theory, it's going to increase it by another 0.3.
So that's what I did last time, and I had it completely dialed in, so I knew exactly how much to put in. And I looked back and I was like, you've got quite a put. And I just got lazy, basically. And I thought, you've got to put quite a lot in. This will be fine, don't worry. Because I thought I was probably half the dose that I needed to be. Yeah. But I mean, if I hadn't tested, I wouldn't have carried on dosing after that. I was planning on testing anyway.
Yeah.
But 2.95.
Quite. If you dosed it more after that, or you thought you needed to dose more after that, that really could have been bad.
Yeah. But they seem fine. They seem actually. I fed when I got back from from ordering the car today, and they were fine. So they're eating now. So they look better. They look more active straight away. So the small water change is done. But that was a minor heart attack. I was like, oh no, please, not after all this. Please don't.
I wonder what the maximum level they can even. Like, I'm not saying, like, what can they actually survive in?
Yeah, I wonder if 2.95 is actually totally fine.
And it's like 6 is
exactly.
The limit.
I mean, they don't like 2.5 in my brief experience.
No.
And I could see that they didn't like 2.95. They were more lethargic, but it's not like they were all lying on the floor, breathing heavily or whatever. So I don't know. But anyway, I'm glad I didn't have to find out.
Even so currently the quarantine tanks, I think 2.2 something. It's like between 2.2 and 2.3, and everything is eating still. But I noticed a difference, because the Nassau tang would eat all of the nori I put on there. Like every single day, I would put all the nori on. It would eat all of the nori, and then once the copper goes in, all of a sudden there's nori left at the end of the day. It's like it suppresses their appetite. So they go, he's still eating, and he'll eat half of the nori, but he's only eating half the amount that he was before. But he's still eating mysis and stuff like that, so I'm not overly worried. But that's the one Nasotang seem to not like any form of medication. I've noticed for some reason,
okay.
or the brief experience I've had with them. So, but yeah, all the fish seem to be doing fine. Obviously, for
when
me
does
as
your
well.
treatment end? When's the last day?
I think it's in 9 days' time. You told me to sort of have it in line with when you were like going
Right,
back
cool.
or something.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think
I
we're
thought
finished
you'd done
maybe
it
on the
early,
8th.
but cool.
But
Okay.
it was funny because I was way more nervous this time, like way more nervous because I've got some like serious fish in there. It's not like I'm doing a couple of clownfish like I've done before.
Yeah.
And again, look, the king eye obviously was expensive, but I didn't realize that you could kill fish with copper back then. I actually I kind of did know, but I the king eye was in copper I think for like maybe 45-50 days almost, and it was fine, and there wasn't any negative effects, whereas obviously I had an issue with the angelfish, the flame angel. So was that because it was in it for too long? So was I lucky with the king eye, or could it have been in there for another 100 days and it wouldn't have ever had an issue? I don't know. So but
yeah, okay. I'm stretching, by the way, because it turns out my car is not very comfortable for long journeys and my back's aching.
What, your current car or your
Current
new
car? Current car. Yeah. But actually, that's one thing. So about the car, it's a second-hand car, which is why I had to drive up to Peterborough. Otherwise, you can just order it locally. So we went up to test it and make sure we're happy, and we're going to get it delivered in a couple of days. But it's not just a car; it's also an aquarium battery backup.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it's an electric car, and so my current car doesn't do this, but this car, it lets you plug stuff in. It's called vehicle to load, so you can use the car's battery to like I can plug a kettle into it or a washing machine or whatever. So if I ever have a power outage, I can just run a cable from my car to the fish tank. Job done. And I could run, because it's a massive battery, I could run the entire tank for days. So
it's interesting. So is it literally that big? Is it big enough to run everything on it then?
It's 73 kilowatt hours. So and that's a lot basically.
Okay.
Like that's my last tank used about a maximum of about 14 kilowatt hours per day.
Yeah.
And that was the absolute maximum. So it would run the entire tank for a week probably.
So you've essentially just got yourself a generator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very useful.
Which means, and I've got a petrol generator, which I can potentially now sell.
Yeah.
Because it's just taking up space. So
did that factor in when you bought the car? Is that why that wasn't part of the decision?
No, I was aware of it, and I did think, oh, that would be cool. But we tested 4 cars, and this one was just way better than the others, despite being a bit cheaper actually than some of the others we tested. But yeah,
this is how different we are. You test stuff. I literally I bought my car from a picture.
You didn't even drive it. That's crazy.
I didn't drive it. I didn't test it or anything. I just went, yeah, that one will do, and it worked. It might not work every time, but the first time I drove it was the time I drove it home.
That's madness to me. But yeah, but then I care about. I'm quite into cars. I care about how they drive and that sort of stuff. But anyway, but no. So that's that was that's kind of, I like that it's a battery backup. But the other thing with that is, so I've been looking into over the last week or so. I've got my energy tariff through my electricity provider is an EV tariff. I've only changed over recently. I've had an electric car for 4 years now, and I've only just changed over because I didn't think we used our car enough to make it worthwhile. But it turns out we absolutely should have done this a while ago. But I've just changed over to an electric tariff, and what that means, it used to be called Economy 7, and it's whereby throughout the day you'll get your normal rate, which is 24 pence per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's how much you pay for electricity. It's actually a little bit higher. But overnight, there's a 6-hour period where it's 7 pence per kilowatt hour, so 70% less cheaper, which is huge. So the idea is you charge your car overnight, and that'll charge it fine. So you charge it overnight, and then it only costs you 7 pence per kilowatt hour instead of 24 pence, 25 pence, whatever it is. The trade-off is that your day rate actually goes up by 15%. So It used to be 24 pence per kilowatt hour. Now it's 26 pence per kilowatt hour.
They always get you one way or another. They get you.
But it worked out really well. But the benefit, and the reason I'm talking about this is there is something connected to fish tanks.
Yeah.
So a normal person who doesn't have a fish
person, not a famous celebrity like you. Yeah.
No, nothing to do with that. A normal person who doesn't have a fish tank. Apparently, the average household daily use is about 10 kilowatts per 10 kilowatt hours.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually accurate. I just saw it in a video. But anyway, my last fish tank, my 4-foot fish tank, used 13 at the peak in January when it was cold.
Just the tank.
Just the tank. So
I
10 kilowatt hours.
My house uses.
Well, this might be useful for you. So 10 kilowatt hours sounds low to me, but anyway, what that means is, so most people, the reason that these tariffs are only useful for people with electric cars is that for a normal person, overnight, your TV's off, your lights are off, your heating's off, your oven's off, your kettle's off. There's nothing on. There's a couple of little things that tick away in the background, but there's nothing on that draws any power. Yeah. But with me, my fish tank, the lights are off, but my pumps, my filters, my heater, everything is still running. So it won't be using as much as it does during the day, but I bet it's using at least half as much electricity as the peak, and maybe even more. So actually, I use quite a lot of electricity overnight. So now, for that 6-hour period, my tanks are both running. They're only costing me 7 pence per kilowatt hour instead of 24.25.
Do you have to have an electric vehicle to have that tariff?
No.
Do you?
No. Who are you with? Who's your electricity provider? Do you know?
British Gas, I think. I don't know. Sure.
So it varies from
my account every month.
No, it varies from company to company, but I'm sure British Gas will do it. But you don't have to have an electric car. On my tower, I'm with Octopus Energy, and they do 2 tariffs: one that you need an electric car for, one you don't. But anyway, you can work out. And I was trying to work out earlier whether it would work out for reef keepers generally, because the trade-off is that you have to, for the most of the day, you're paying an extra 15%. That's the cost. So your electricity bill is going to go up by 15%. But the fact that for 6 hours it goes down by 70%, 70, does for quarter of the day, does that cancel it out?
What are those hours?
11:30 to 5:30.
Oh, so it's literally like the middle of the night then.
Middle of the night, yeah. So all your lights will be off. There might be some people who have lights on at that time, but probably 99% of people won't. But yeah, I don't know if it's easy enough to work out, because you'd need to know exactly how much energy your tank uses overnight, which you can test with a tank with a plug monitor, an energy monitoring plug, or if you've got a smart meter, it might be able to tell you. But it's interesting, and I think it could help.
I can't remember, but I'm sure that my people have those electricity meters, and normally it says like, I know 3p of electricity what you're using. Mine's like 90p, like permanently.
Yeah.
And then when the lights go off, it goes down to like 70p or something. Like,
okay,
I'd be interested. So it's dropping, but it's not dropping an absolute, like, it's not like going down to 10, is it? It's only dropping a small percentage in comparison.
I'll have a look next time I'm down, actually, because the other thing that I've been looking at is battery storage. Okay, so if you get solar panels, obviously during the day you get free energy, right?
Yeah.
But actually, I don't want solar panels. They're quite expensive. They're a bit ugly on your house, and I just don't really want them. I kind of do want them, if I'm completely honest, but it's not going to happen. But the other thing you can do is, most people, a lot of people who have solar panels also have batteries, massive batteries to store it, because then if you're generating more energy through your solar panels than your house is using, you can store it in your batteries, and then at night the batteries use the spare solar energy. Great. So it doesn't go wasted.
Yeah.
However, what you can also do, and this is, I know some people who do this, you can just buy the batteries, and then you charge the batteries at night when it's 7 pence per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, if you've got enough batteries, suddenly that's potentially enough electricity for your entire house. So you always pay 7 pence per kilowatt hour instead of.
This is all good until the electricity companies realize what people are doing.
Well, this is the thing. So that tariff could change at any minute. My electricity company could say, no, we're not happening. there's been something like that for years though, so I don't think it's going to disappear. And the actual problem with that is that the batteries are quite expensive.
That's the other thing. You could put all that in, and then they could change the tariff.
Yeah, and even if they don't change the tariff, it'll probably take a good few years, 4 or 5 years, I think, to pay off. They vary in price, but you can do it, and I'm actually quite tempted to get some of the batteries. I'm trying to work out a way to do it not too expensive.
Yeah,
but I was thinking actually that could work really well for you because you use so much electricity, and if you're paying 7 pence per kilowatt hour instead of 25 pence.
No, I know what you mean.
Worth a few quid on batteries, but
it's the sort of thing where at the moment for me it's like it's too much to comprehend, like how it actually would all work. But don't you worry, you try it first, which is what happens usually. Then you come to me and you go, look, this is a really good idea. I've done it, I've tested it, and you should do it.
Well, that's the plan. I'm literally 2, 3, 4 days into the tariff, so I can't tell you how that's working out. And I've not even bought batteries. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but if I do it, I'll sit it. I'll go for a while, and then I'll revisit it. The other thing I was thinking, you can buy. I haven't got one up here. You can buy little portable battery stations, like they're called solar generators, like little, just like a fat battery, basically. So what I was thinking I could do is if I could buy one big enough to run the K tank over my shoulder, I could charge that overnight in the 6 hours, and then turn it and then have the K tank running only on 7 pence per kilowatt hour electricity, which again,
this is the sort of thing that you love.
I know.
You like I'm not sure how much the people listening love it, but this is the sort of thing that you love.
There'll be like 4 people going, I love that, and then everyone else
I know.
You're such a nerd.
Just so you know, I'm not one of them.
No, I'm aware of that. But yeah, if anyone does it in the chat, let us know. That's interesting. In California, I'm paying $700 a month for electricity. Wow, 5 tanks and a hot tub. That's crazy. What am I paying? So I'm paying $2,500 a year. This year, sorry, this year was $2,500 I paid on electricity. Last year was 3.5, and I used more or less the same amount of electricity. That just shows you how much electricity went up. Prices went up last year.
Yeah.
But $800 a month, that's what's that? 8,000, 9,600, almost 10 grand a year. Ouch.
Still cheaper than mine.
California, you've got sun. You should have solar panels. It's all free.
True.
But yeah, there we go. So that's what I've just been obsessing about that. And I've got my father-in-law.
This is like the battery backup situation again, isn't it? Where you're like messaging at me at like 11 o'clock at night going, Ryan, I've just got this new idea about this battery backup.
I
I'm
need
like,
to tell
Alex,
someone.
I literally, you know when I say on the live stream, I don't care. I'm not pretending.
Shut up. Stop talking. But my stepfather-in-law, is he's got a solar setup and he's got batteries and all that sort of stuff, and he's really into electrics and all that sort of thing. So I'm seeing him tomorrow, and I'm going to go and chew his ear. Oh, that's including solar panels. Oh wow, how did you know? Yeah, okay. But there you go. So I'm going to have a chat with him tomorrow, and he'll be really excited because you're
going to come back one of those Tesla roofs where the whole roof is a solar panel.
They're expensive, but you can get a Tesla battery. It's called a Powerwall. You can get a Tesla battery. Yeah. But I think they're a bit more expensive than I would want to pay.
Yeah.
I've had anemone problems, Ryan.
Okay.
So I've always got anemone problems because they're a pain in the ass. It's got now to the point where the anemones in the bubble tip anemones, as in my cade, are pretty settled, and they don't tend to move. I have one that is really stretched up. It's I think it probably wants more light, and I've just noticed actually it's twisted, so it's stretched up and twisted round. But anyway, I think they want more light, but the rest of my corals, or the corals in my tank, don't want more light. So tough luck. You're just going to have to deal with it. But every now and then, one of them will pop off. And this morning, I came in and there was a mulched anemone in one of my power heads, just getting blasted. It was still.
I'd be surprised if they want more light. I just heard what you said, because they would move. Are they at the top?
They are about there. Which is probably halfway up.
Because you have plenty of light on that tank, unless it. Well, I don't know.
Par's quite low.
Oh, is it?
Quite low.
Maybe not. Then.
I think they're getting around 150.
That's exactly what they're getting in the farm.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, and that one came from the farm, didn't it? So
Yeah, a couple of them did. One of them is perfectly happy, and the
Yeah.
one next to it is stretching up. It might just be because but anyway, one of them popped off and got mulched. So I
Yeah.
took it out and got rid of it. And that's the thing. The thing is, because these are they spread and they grow and all that, they're actually potentially a bit of a pain in a small tank. So
Yeah.
I don't really mind when they pop off. It's just a shame when it gets mulched into a powerhead because I've got to dispose of it. Because if it pops off and I can grab it, then I can take it to my LFS.
Yeah.
But although at the moment, because that's still in its fallow period, I'm not selling or giving away any corals from it. So,
Did it? It's not had any negative effect on the tank, I'm assuming.
No, totally. I mean, I don't know what time it happened, but it was less than 12 hours. But it's not. That's happened a few times as well. I've found there's a thing, you can see a thing in your parrot. You're like, what's that?
Yeah.
And it's always an anemone. So it's happened a few times.
Or a copper band.
Yeah, exactly. But it's happened a few times and it's never caused any problems with the tank. So far, touch wood.
Yeah. As I say, it's never caused me any problems either. But obviously the farm's much bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, this is true. And that's only 100 litres, that tank, I think. House solar batteries are nice for power outages. Oh, that's the other thing. Yeah. So if you've got batteries and you charge overnight, suddenly it doesn't matter if there's a power cut because you've got batteries.
Yeah.
So you don't even need battery.
See, these are the sort of things where I'd go, if this was my forever home, then you would get all those things done but there's so much cost involved with them. That's what puts most people off. If you're only going to be here for a few more years, then you go, it takes 5 years to pay for themselves.
Completely. That's it. 5 years isn't actually that long. Last time I looked into solar was about 5 years ago, and I think the solar panels were 10-year payoff. It's ridiculous. So everything's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah.
But still, it needs to be at the point where it's much cheaper, like half the price.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'll keep looking into it but I think potentially it could be really good for you because you use probably 4 times as much energy as I do.
Probably more than that, probably.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting.
It's painful, my electricity bill. I remember when it was at the peak, it was like £1,400 a month. During that, I know.
Last year.
Yeah. So
hell. That wasn't every month. That must have been January
there were certain months where it was higher than others. But remember, I've got the air conditioning running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
If that was every month, that's 17 grand a year.
Yep.
What would that be? Times by 0.3.
I had to sell a lot of corals.
Times by 0.3. That would be 5 grand a year if you were 7 pence per kilowatt hour. So suddenly you've got 12 grand to spend on batteries, right?
No, yeah, but it's not 7 pence for the whole time though. It's only for 6 hours.
No. That's if the tariff is just for the 6 hours. But if you get batteries, if you get big enough batteries, you can charge them with enough juice
I see what you mean.
It will cover 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
You'd need to spend a lot of money on batteries, though. It would be more than 7 grand.
Yeah, I would.
7 grand. What did I just say? Anyway, 12 grand, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm actually suddenly excited by the prospect of having low energy bills.
Just for once, please come to me excited about fish or a coral or something interesting.
I've got some exciting fish and coral stuff for you later in the news section.
Okay.
A lot of news this week, actually, which is good, given that it's like Christmas and nothing's happening.
Yeah. True.
Did you get any reef-related Christmas presents?
No, I didn't. Well, technically, the candy basket was a present from Rachel. So yes, I did.
How's the candy basket doing?
Fine. She paid for half of it, so it's like half present from me. But I wouldn't have got it otherwise. So it was more of egging me on was what was the benefit of Rachel. Anything else? No. I'll be honest with you. I don't do Christmas really at all.
You despise it, don't you?
No, I don't despise it.
You're more of a Grinch than I am.
It's not that. Like when I was younger, we never really did Christmas, so it's not a big thing for me.
Really?
And it's like this is too long to get into on the live stream. It's like a foreign concept for me because I don't understand it. I was up in London on the 27th, and then I drove back about 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock. The roads were insane because everyone was traveling back from.
Yeah.
So if anything, it was just an annoyance for me because I had to go. not realizing it was going to be insane. And like the M25 was just absolutely blocked the whole way around.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it was meant to take me an hour and 15 minutes to get home, and it took me like I think 3 hours and 15 minutes. And I'm like, this is because of Christmas.
But that's just if you go into London, there's a 90% chance you'll get stuck in traffic.
Yeah, but not like that.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Well, obviously I don't go often enough. But as I said, I don't know. I just we never did it as a child when I was a child, not because of any reason. My family's the same where they don't do Christmas, and we used to go on holiday. So Santa, actually, I have to be careful. Basically, my parents could only get me any presents that would fit into a suitcase. So it was just never a thing. And I will do it for my children, but I'm a grown man. I don't need to care about it.
Get your own money,
so, but yes, that was a lot of emotional stuff came out then, didn't it? It's like
childhood trauma. I think you secretly love it, and you've just been conditioned into it.
It was funny. So Rachel went away for Christmas to her parents, and I stayed here. And while she was away, I took all the Christmas decorations down. She came back and she put them all back up.
Well, you had agreed 1st of January, didn't you? So.
Yes, I know, but they're down now. To be honest, to be fair,
okay.
So they went back up, and then a couple of days later, I think they came down yesterday. So, but yeah, I'm not sure how we got into Christmas, but yes, I'm a Grinch is the answer.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm bad enough, but you're even worse.
Did you get any fish related presents?
I got a coral token. I got some money that, with strict instructions, that it must be spent on coral, which I'm okay with, surprisingly.
Yeah.
And I'm going to spend it on some of your Cyphastras.
Oh, when you say a token, like
cash.
I was going to say, is it a gift card?
No. It's cash. Yeah.
I was like, who are you buying from?
It's not like a WH Smith gift card that I'm going to be like, Ryan, you got to take it.
Yeah.
It's as good as cash. This is.
No, yeah, because I know you want some Cyphastras, don't you? And Cyphastra is one of the things I usually have loads of, so because they grow really well.
Yeah. I've got a few in my tank, but I want some more. I got some good spots that will be perfect.
Usually abuse them though, don't you? Usually change the color of them into something completely different, so it's
I improve them, yeah.
Improve them.
It is currently, you can't really see because it's not very good, but it's lost its nice color.
Are you going to 3D print something more interesting than a dome to put it on? Because Cyphastra was the original thing. It wasn't a skull. It was the original was a lady, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a naked lady lying down, and then someone put Cyphastra on it, and that sort of made it like more popular. Will you be doing something like that?
I did 3D a while ago. I 3D printed. I did the same thing. I got a bust of a lady.
Oh yeah.
Because the plan was to grow it out and sell it.
Yeah.
But then the Cyphastra died, and I also made like it was kind of I don't want to say it's kind of Christmas tree shape in that it was kind of like an upside down cone, but it had lots of like contours and stuff that I think would have looked cool. But again, I put the Cyphastra on that and it died. But I had salinity issues, so no, I'll just be putting them on those 3D printed items that I sell at reefdork.etsy.com.
Go and spend your Christmas money there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Well, obviously not me, but also I'll be putting them on my scape, which I'll potentially regret because they do spread, but they're not very aggressive. So I don't. So if anything, so they're likely to get stung. Basically,
everything will kill Cyphastra.
Yeah.
And even Cyphastra are so with some corals, if you put them next to each other, they will like grow over each other, like with one support and stuff like that. Whatever you're doing, that's so loud on the microphone.
I was trying to crunch the bottle under the table to keep it away from the mic, but
that did not work at all.
Yeah. Sorry.
With Cyphastras, they will usually grow and they'll create like not a no man's land. They'll grow right up to each other, but they don't really like fight with each other. So,
have you heard of shyness of the crown?
No, I'm not sure what that
crown shyness is called. It's trees. So in with certain trees, the canopies, it's in like hot countries where the trees grow really tall.
Yeah.
But you get, in fact, I'm going to show you a picture of it. Crown shyness, because it's easier to just to show you than it is. Oh, no, don't invite. Present, share screen. Every time I have to share a screen, it's just like the most annoying thing in the world. Right, here we go. That's a really good photo of it. So This is crown shyness, this photo on the right here. So it's where trees grow really tall, but for some reason they don't touch each other.
That's interesting.
So this is another example. And
yeah, I've never seen that.
No, it's really cool. This is like I don't know if it's all trees or whatever. I think there's only certain types of trees, but the very tops, the canopy disengagement, they don't quite touch each other. And I had that I had some crown shyness with two Cyphastria. They were they were big colonies, but where they met, they didn't touch, and it stayed that way for about 6 months. But then eventually they got to the point where they did touch. And they were just, it was just like a pathetic fight. It was like, it'd be like if you and me fought, right?
Yeah. Well. On the poll, they said I would win. So it wouldn't be like if me and you fought.
No.
And let's not try it.
No. But yeah, it's, so they did kind of, they just tolerated each other. So
the listeners are learning a lot today. They're learning about energy tariffs. They're learning about trees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What else? I think I just closed my thing. Oh, that was the other thing. Oh, so reefing resolutions, actually.
Are we going to that now? Normally we do member questions next.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good point.
That doesn't matter to me. I'm a man of routine.
This was supposed to be well organised.
Yeah.
And then I forgot it was on. I forgot it was Sunday, and I had about 15 minutes to.
We'll give you a week off. Normally you do a great job. So
thanks very much. So member questions. There is one member question. It's from Richard. Let me just refresh to make sure that is the case. This is from Rich's Reef. He says, "Congratulations on episode 75." Is it 75? Yeah, it is.
It is. Yeah,
episode 75. Oh, cool.
Even I didn't know that.
Yeah, /podcast. My reefing resolution. First off, thank you. And 75. That's 3/4 of the way to a century.
I'm interested to see how, if we average them out at an hour and a half, because I know they aren't all 2 hours. It's 112 hours divided by 24. We spent almost a week we spent 4.5 days of our life sitting here.
I bet, and bearing in mind we talked before and after.
Most of them do go to 2 hours. That's only an hour and a half.
We spent a week solid.
Yeah, I reckon you could probably double that.
Yeah.
Before and after bit as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex is just coughing, which is why it's gone silent. Oh, he's still going.
All good.
I'm just doing a running commentary of your dying.
Richard Reef says his reefing resolution is to go to more reefing shops this year that I've not visited before. That's an excellent resolution. Following the episode with Ed recently, I'm off to Reefkeeper Rugby on Thursday to kick off the year. Reefkeeper Rugby. So I went there once, but I was on the way back from somewhere, and I didn't really want to stop in. I just wanted to get going.
Yeah.
I take it you've never been.
I've never been there, no. But it's near Aqua, apparently. A lot of people that were at Aqua then went there afterwards, I believe. Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
That's what I heard, anyway. Yeah, apparently, and I've had quite a few of people that I speak to, like customers and friends and stuff, saw that live stream and have gone to Moss End because they've never been there before. Which is Did you speak to Ed?
I spoke to Ed, and he said he had a few people come in.
Yeah, he sent me a message as well. So and that's the people who went and said hello to him. Probably there'll probably be loads of people who didn't say hello.
10 times maybe.
Just random people just having a look around.
The power of YouTube, Ryan.
No, I just think it's nice.
Completely brilliant. It's that's exactly what I want as well. It's when it's a shop as good as that. It's good for me to tell people about it. I get a kick out of that. So
I agree.
But anyway, so that's Rich's reefing resolution. I like that actually. I was going to do, so I'm off work until the 6th of January. So I've got another week off basically from now. And I was thinking of going properly up north. Oh, Ryan's frozen. He's back. I was thinking
my thing died again, but I don't know why, because it was on 100%. You told me to buy this, and twice now it's run out. But
plug it in. God's sake.
I can actually plug it into my laptop, and it will stay permanently charged. So
we'll fix that later.
Yeah.
And now I've lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
You're going to go up north.
Oh yeah. So I looked. There's a couple of shops I've wanted to go to for ages. Finest Aquatics and Kraken Corals.
I've been to Kraken.
Oh, have you? What's it like?
Yeah. Kraken was a good shop. Like when I went in there, I was like, it's worth the reputation. As the problem is, you don't shops change over the years. Sometimes you can go in and they're absolutely brilliant. And when I went in there, it was brilliant.
You're
I'm
saying you think
assuming,
now it's going to be terrible.
no, I'm assuming it's still the same. It doesn't even have the same owner anymore, so I can't.
Put them on the list.
No, I can't tell. I'm assuming it's the same. They're owned by Finest now, and Finest are a good shop.
Oh,
So
of course they are. Yeah,
I
yeah.
assume it's with exactly the same quality as Finest. So
Yeah, but that's because I obviously I only go to shops in the south really because it's a long way away.
Yeah.
So I want to visit, and those are two of the shops that have got a good reputation. Abyss in Manchester, Stockport, I've been to, and that was really good. But
yeah,
I've
I've been to Abyss.
Not been to any of the others up north. So I
would like to go to. I'm not even sure what it was called. It used to be called Reef Aquatics up north, or what it wasn't called Reef Aquatics up north.
Yes.
I think it's now called just Aqua, which is named after the show. I think that is what it is.
Yeah.
I would like to go there because I think that shop is supposedly like I've seen some of the videos on it. It's crazy. Some of the fish, like they've got Interruptus angelfish in their like display tank, and that's a fish you like. I think I might have seen one, but I'm not even sure I've ever seen one. So, and they have like the crazy expensive tangs and so. This was what was in the video that Colette put out actually. So that's a serious shop, I assume.
So that was on my list actually. Of these, there were 3 places I was going to go to. Those 3, and I was thinking of doing a video. I'm just going to have to cough again.
Yeah.
I was thinking of doing.
Sorry, I wasn't how long your cough was going to be, which is why I interrupted you. But
I was going to do a video where I'd go up and just basically do a little like a tour and just do a quick walk around. But I don't want to have to like go in and go, do you mind if I film? And so
no, I know it's funny because shops get funny about filming sometimes.
These guys, I think they'd be okay.
No,
if you ask in advance or whatever, But if you spring it on them, then they might be like, the tank might have algae in it that they haven't cleaned.
No, I understand. If someone came and said to me, "Can I film your farm today?" I'd be like, "Not really, if I'm honest, because I haven't cleaned the glass." But I got people coming tomorrow, so tomorrow morning it'll be spotless. Come back tomorrow. So I do get why people wouldn't necessarily.
I had a shop once tell me off. I'd gone in to film. To get some footage of some fish, and I'd asked if it was okay, and they said yes. And you could actually, in the clip, I muted the clip on the video I put out, but you could hear the shopkeeper talking in the background, talking to me.
Yeah.
And then I went in, and the different member of staff told me off and went, "Oh, not allowed to do that." And I was like,
"Yeah,
I thought it was."
Yeah.
But so I get it because some people, anyway, whatever I think they would be cool with it, but I don't know if I want to do it, to be honest. But I want to visit them. Even if I don't make a video, I want to visit them. I think
you get a different experience if you go there and you film stuff. I know it's not so much for you, but it's like if you're like working, if you see what I mean. Whereas if you go there as a customer, you get that customer experience, so you get to like just enjoy yourself. But I agree with you. I would like to. I've never been to Finest. I would like to go to Finest. I've been to Kraken. I have not been to Aqua, which is the one I would like to go to. But you know me, I don't like to leave my house. whereas you can see in the comments, Jamie has written road trip because he wants to leave his house constantly.
Interesting. I reef in much down. You one as well? Yeah, I'll be up for that.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? The only thing is, it's quite a long way, and I think really. So I've just put it into Google Maps. If you were to leave now when there's no traffic, it's 3.5 hours, and I'd want to do it on the motorbike.
The Americans are like. 3.5 hours. That's just down the road.
It's my LFS. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the thing is, that's 7 hours of traveling. So realistically, you don't want to do that in a day.
Yeah.
So what you should probably do is have it so you stay overnight somewhere.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Then you've got
definitely.
2 days of doing it.
Yeah. It's
Would you be up for that? A road trip with Jamie? Jamie's really.
God, you're gonna pin me down now, aren't you? And get me to agree to it.
Peer pressure.
Probably.
Yes, he is, Jamie. Good. All right.
What was I going to say? So I know when I go in fish shops now, I never know how the shop is going to react because obviously, like technically, I am a competitor, and some shops don't like that. When I went to Kraken, so I went into Kraken, and I didn't say anything. I never introduced myself or anything. I just go in as a normal customer, and occasionally, people will know you. So I went to Kraken probably for about 15 minutes. No one said anything. It turns out they did know who I was, and they were like the nicest people. So it was really refreshing. I absolutely love that when I go somewhere and I'm not like the enemy. If you see what I mean. There's Epping Aquatics. I met the owner of Epping Aquatics the other day, which is a shop I hadn't even heard of, and he went. You want a reason? I own a shop.
Oh yeah, I remember you said, yeah.
He
That's
said to me,
brilliant.
I was meant to be, I think he was meant to be a surgeon or something, he said. I can't quite remember.
Oh
It was
really?
only probably like a couple of minute conversation. But it was like, it was so nice to meet someone that, and to go, look, I do this because I was following your channel. Like, he probably wasn't fully because of
Yeah.
what I mean, but he may have got his first tank because of me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really nice. And that was what it was like when I went to Kraken. They were like so friendly.
Yeah.
So,
See, actually, that's been my experience with 99.99% of times.
yeah, but you're not a competitor, so it's slightly
That's very
different.
true.
See what I mean?
Yeah. It's very
And
true.
look, I get it. Business is business. So, like, some people won't like it, but
Yeah. It's fair.
but yeah.
But there we go. So we'll do it. Yeah, and if people up north are more friendly than people down south as well. That's a fact.
Yeah, well,
I went to uni in the Midlands, and I've got mates from up north. Well, Stoke-on-Trent, which is kind of up north. It's not up north to me, but to northerners, they're like, no, that's Midlands, mate.
Yeah.
But then they live in Manchester now, and people in Manchester are so much friendlier than people down here. So the place I live, it's a small village, not a lot of people there, and there's only houses on one side of the road on my road, and there aren't that many houses. And sometimes I go out for a walk up the road, and you'll see people on the other side of the road. There's no pavement, other side of the road, walking the other way, and I'll say morning, and they ignore me. And
I understand why.
You're probably one of my neighbours, and you're just like, literally not even like, if you just walk past, fair enough. If I say hello and you still ignore me, like if you did that to someone in the north, they'd be like, "What?
I know.
Did they?"
London is the worst. You go to London,
London's even worse.
Everyone is like going somewhere, and they all want to be left alone. But
I hate it. Yeah.
Anyway. Do you get recognised then? I know we're going off topic. Do you ever get recognised from the channel? Not in a shop, in somewhere that's not a shop. Because in a shop, it's sort of pretty. It happens relatively commonly.
Once recently, actually. So this, funnily enough, is when I was test driving a car. I went to the car dealer, and I said, "Oh, I'm looking at that car over there. I just wanted to have a look around." And he went straight away. He was like, "Are you Reef Dork?"
Yeah.
And I was like, and he showed me his phone. He'd literally just been watching one of my videos.
I had that with the car dealership as well when I went. But the other day, I was in the Lego store, and someone I was in Brighton, and someone shouted Ryan, and I didn't hear it. And then I went into the Lego store, and then they came in. They went, I was the one who shouted Ryan. After that, I feel like I'd committed, so I had to come in. And say hello. But it's nice. But it's really weird. Like in a shop, you expect it, so it's not unusual. But when you're just completely out in the middle of nowhere, it happened when I was in a lift. I got out of a lift in Vegas. That was also very unusual. But I was there for Macna, but I was in a completely different hotel.
Okay. So, Americans are more friendly than Southerners, Londoners.
But yeah, and I just wondered if that was because your channel is obviously bigger than mine, so I wondered if it happened more frequently.
It's only ever happened once, but it was cool. I was like, it was interesting. And he was setting up a tank. I love it when it's someone who set up a tank on the back of my videos. That's really cool. I think
Aaron's Aquarium used to meet people pretty regularly at petrol stations because obviously he's a truck driver. So he's out and about all the time, and I think that he used to meet people relatively frequently.
And he's up north, so they're friendly.
Yeah, true.
True.
Yeah. Anyway, we digressed, didn't we? We got sidetracked.
Digressed. Indeed, we did. And I can't remember where we got up to, but
remember questions, which wasn't a question, was it?
Did I get a discount on the car? I didn't. I didn't get that car in the end. But yeah, it's 50%.
You got one subscriber less.
I know, 50% celebrity discount. I think, isn't it? When you get to our level of celebrity, which is basically
I'm not
one step down from Johnny Depp.
I'm way lower than you, I'm afraid.
Yeah, you're like just a piece of dirt on my shoes, Ryan. So. But yeah, so my only reefing resolution. So I've got one. I want to do all the things that you should do. Test the water more regularly. Do water changes, all that sort of stuff, and keep on top of stuff, and don't just leave stuff, because I do that all the time. I'll see a problem, like for example, I took out some GSP the other day from my K tank, and a tiny patch had started growing onto the main rock.
Yeah,
and I need to. It's a tiny little patch, but I need to scrape that off or cover it in putty. Probably cover it in putty, because if I don't do that now, I'll remember in 6 months, and it will be the entire tank will be covered in GSP. So things like that, I need to do that more. Be more diligent, all that sort of stuff. But actually, I don't know about quarantining still. So that's an obvious resolution for me, is quarantine fish. Yeah. And I think I'm going to, but I'm not going to do it as like when you go on Humble Fish and you ask for advice, they say this is what you should do, and it's doing it properly.
Yeah.
And there's lots of stages that I'm like, I'm just not going to do that. I'm just not. But I think I'll probably start doing quarantine, but it's not a resolution as such. But I
see, I totally agree with you with regard just on the quarantine. I'm going to be doing an observation. So I have fish for the coral farm at the moment, but I'm not actually treating them because the coral farm has white spotting already, and the only two things I need to worry about are Brooklynella and Velvet. So I'm just doing an observational quarantine for those, where and I think that's probably enough for yourself as well, as long if you're, it depends on how long you're willing to wait. Sorry, it interrupts your chain of thought. I'm just agreeing with you, basically.
No. I think I don't know I'll probably do copper treatment and API general cure.
Yeah.
And if I get clownfish, for example, I still want some pink skunk clownfish, and I don't think you ever get them captive bred. I think they're always wild caught.
Oh, sure.
I think that's right. No facts here, but I think that's right. And if I ever get some wild caught clownfish, they are getting treated to within an inch of their lives. They are having Metroplex, like up to their eyeballs, basically.
Yeah.
I'm not getting Brooklynella again. So that's not it. But the reefing resolution I do have is more of a YouTube resolution.
Okay.
So
are you going to post a video every day for an entire year?
Yeah, actually, I am. 365 videos. No, not in the slightest. I have no interest in doing that whatsoever. There's only about that many videos on my entire channel. So
what is your YouTube related?
So I look back. So I've looked back at my videos recently, and I found there's actually it's not as bad as I thought it was in my head. But every now and then there are filler videos where I get to because I'm on a fortnightly. Oh, do you know what I found out the other day? Americans don't use the word fortnight in the context of there's a game.
Only in the context of a game.
Yeah, but once every 2 weeks. Because I said on a video I do fortnightly water changes, and someone commented saying for my American friends, fortnight means every 2 weeks, and he got like 10, 15 likes. I was like, no way. But they see it as like an oldie English kind of thing, which it kind of is. Yeah. But I'd never even thought of that. Anyway. So I'm on a fortnightly. I upload a video every 2 weeks. Actually, if you're American, what do you say instead? If something happens every 2 weeks, what do you say? Do you just say like bi-weekly?
2 weeks.
Or 2 weeks? Yeah, just talk straight. But anyway, so 2 weeks. Yeah, you are putting resolutions in the chat, Tom. So I upload every 2 weeks. And every now and then I get towards the end of the 2 weeks and I haven't done a video, and I'm like, oh, I'll just do a tank update, or I do something lazy basically that doesn't really benefit anybody. There's still, some of them are still relatively popular.
So basically what you just said was the videos I put out for 22 days don't really benefit anyone.
No, that's totally different. Yours is totally different. They were really good, but I don't want to just be. I want to reduce the number of filler videos, and I've drawn up a list of the videos, because I've got a list still. It grows all the time. I've probably got 100 videos on this list that I want to make. I'm never going to make most of them, but I've pulled out half a dozen that I think are actually really good, that I really want to make. Some of them won't be massive view videos. It's not about getting views. It's about doing videos that I think are really useful. So, for example, I've written a script for a review of the Cade tank.
Yeah.
Because there's so many features in that thing, so many, like millions of features that you just wouldn't know about unless you. And this is going to be quite a long video, that one, which is a bit irritating, but I really want to do it because it's good to know. And there's a couple of other videos that are on my list as well, but I'm going to draw up a list of the videos I want to make most, and I'm going to try to make as many of them as possible. And I'm going to try to avoid getting to the position where I'm like, I'll just do a tank update. I'll still do tank updates, but it won't be as. If I do, I want it to be deliberate, not like a lazy tank update, if that makes sense. Because the other day I said I was going to do a video, an update that talks about having no fish in the tank for 2 months and what that's like, running a reef tank with no fish. But I actually decided I don't want to do that, because I'm not actually doing that to make a really useful video. It's just, that's a filler video. Kind of is useful, but. So anyway, I'm probably overthinking this, because this is the sort of thing you roll your eyes at. But either way,
because it doesn't matter. Like, if you think about it, all that's going to happen, you put out that video that about running a tank without fish in it, and then 2 weeks later, you're going to put out that video that you would have put out 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah, this is true. I just don't. I just want to do. I've just got a list of basically. I've got a list of videos that I really want to make, and I'm going to stop putting them off, and I'm going to do it.
Good. I
That's
will.
it.
I will
You
watch
look forward to it.
probably
You'll
one
watch
of
all of them.
all of them.
Actually, one of them I meant to pick up today, but I ran out of time. I've bought a freshwater tank.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to use as my quarantine tank. It's 10 gallons, 40 litres, which is probably at the lower end of size of a quarantine tank, but it's still just about okay. And annoyingly, it's a square, not a rectangle, which is slightly worse, but anyway, it'll do. But it's a freshwater tank, and I've done a few how to set up a saltwater tank videos, but the one that I haven't done, I've wanted to do for a while, is how to set up a saltwater tank using a freshwater tank.
Okay.
Now, I've used a freshwater tank before, but that's what I'm going to call it, because I've noticed that lots of people do that actually, and they use freshwater tanks, or they have a freshwater tank and they want to set it up as a reef tank. And I looked into that when I had a freshwater tank. I was like, oh, how do you do it? And actually, it's really easy. But when I looked it up, and this was a while ago, when I looked it up, it sounded really complicated. It's not. So I want to make a video showing how easy it is and how cheap it can be as well.
Yeah.
So that's a big one.
I reckon they'll get plenty of views as well.
That will do. That will take a lot of time and a lot of effort, but that will do well, because how to set up a reef tank videos do well.
Yeah.
So if you do them properly, anyway. So, but yeah, but the rest, some of them won't be huge. A review of the Cade might do well over time, but it's probably quite niche. But what are your reefing resolutions?
So the first thing is, and I'm going to finish the 30 days series, which is not it's going to be 30 days, but that series I'm going to finish. So you heard, I might do or not do it like consecutive days, but I will finish. It's hard. When does it finish? At what point does that series finish? If you see what I mean. If it's not in 30 days.
If you're just going to do it every week or once a month or whatever, it doesn't count. It's got to be bunched together.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do some quick consecutive videos still. So that's the first part of it. I am going to keep on top of the water box. That is what I'm promising myself. So it's going to be a display tank for me, pristine. It's going like it took me a month to get to this stage. Why would I let that go? If you see what I mean. And I'm happy with it now. So it gets it's like it gets neglected because it's not the number one tank, but with all the fish that's going to be in it in like 8 days' time, it better be the number one tank. Like I need to look after that. Like it's not that I don't look after it. It's just like if I let the nutrients get too high or too low, I mean, it was causing me problems before. Whereas I need to be on it. It's exactly the same as I am with the coral farm. So you can't share your love equally between tanks. I've said this many times, but I'm going to have to try and stretch that love so that I give them all the same level of attention. So that's that. My plan, I've done better this year than I did previous years with regards to the company, like financially. So the company is growing, which is great.
Yeah.
But I want to be a bit more actively, like it's hard. I'm not sure how to put it because I do push it anyway, but I want to be a bit more like if I said, right, every 2 weeks I'm going to import corals so that there's a constant like new stuff on there and things like that, then that's I'm not sure that's how I'm going to do it yet. But what I actually need is when I first started the coral farm, I recorded every single coral, how much profit I made for it, and I could go back on a day-to-day basis and look and know. Whereas now I'm a bit more lazy with regards to doing that, and I only do it like monthly, so I can go a whole month to know whether I made money that month or not. And
interesting.
So whereas if you get halfway through the month and then you go, wait a minute, I haven't made as much as I did previously.
What's the point?
It motivates you.
Yeah, totally.
All of a sudden you go, right, I need to do something to get this back up to where it was before. So it was a really, really good motivator. And that's how we run so obviously you knew I worked at another company. We knew every single day how much every single engineer earned. And if you do that, you know basically if you're doing well or not on a day-to-day basis. So that's something that I need to sort of get back into.
Just actually on that point, so because you helped with the running of a company before,
and
that must be a big difference for you because you're not just you're you really are a hobbyist.
Yeah.
You're as obsessed as anybody, but you're not just a hobbyist. You've got like a bit of business now. Because if I did it, I have zero business now. So I'd just be like, oh yeah, let's just buy some corals.
So the company that I ran previously was like I think the turnover was 2.6 million, and I was the person at the it was basically the person at the top, or my father was the person above me, but he retired a long time ago.
Yeah. Okay.
So it wasn't like there was a lot of people that worked there, and if you got it wrong, people lost their jobs. It was a serious.
Yeah.
And we had to do all the spreadsheets for the finances, and we did audits and everything. I remember when I had my pet shop license renewed recently. When I first submitted it 5 years ago, they said no one has ever submitted a pet shop license in the way that you have submitted it, because I had risk assessments for everything, fire, like all the fire things done, and they just went, no one has ever submitted one like this before.
That's the thing. That's you know how to do that. And I watched back the Ed live stream, Reefkeeper Windsor live stream, my son, sorry. And one of the things he said early on was how he got into the hobby was he did his degree in management consultancy.
Yeah,
and he worked in that area. And then after X number of years, he moved on. And I wish I'd gone back and asked him about that, because that actually that's the same as you. Like, he's got this grounding in business, so he understands how to run a business. Whereas if I set up a shop, I would have no clue. I wouldn't, all these things like working out if you're making a profit and calculate, doing it every day and every week and all that. That sounds really obvious, but it's the sort of thing that I wouldn't do. And someone like Ed, I bet that's part of why he's so successful. Reefkeeper is so successful because he's got someone who knows business, basically.
It's something that's been in, like, it was, so my father, as I said, ran a company. His father also ran a company. We're all different companies, but it was something that's almost been bred in me from a very, very young age. So I remember when I was like probably 10 or 11, I wanted to buy a Game Boy. I wanted a Game Boy, and my dad said, that's fine, but you're going to have to earn the money. I was 10. I said, I really do have some emotional trauma from my childhood, don't I? Yeah. So he said, you have a Game Boy, but you have to make the money from it. So what I was doing as a 10-year-old, I was buying games off my friends. Yeah. And my friends' parents were buying the games for their children. So the games were free to my friends. Once they finished playing them, I was buying them for like hardly anything from them, and then putting them in the Friday ad, which I'm not even sure if the Friday ad is still around anymore.
I remember it. Yeah, I remember it.
And people were coming. I would buy their Game Boys, anything. And if I made 10, 20 quid on a Game Boy, it was brilliant. And I was so young, and I learned some really valuable lessons from. I don't want to go into it now, but there's a lesson I learned then, that I will remember forever. Like when I was 10, when someone came to pick up my Game Boy once.
What was that?
The guy came and he said, "Oh, this Game Boy is for my child for Christmas. Have you got any games that I can have it for free?" And I went, "Oh yeah," as a 10-year-old. I went, "Yeah," because I so badly wanted the money for this Game Boy, because it was a big sale for me at the time. And I went, "Yeah, you can have this game for free." And after the person left, my dad said to me, "That person traveled here to buy the Game Boy. Now, the reason you gave him the game for free was because you wanted to make the sale. But what you didn't realize, you had already made the sale. He was just trying his luck." And that was when, all you did was basically give away a game that you could have sold to someone else, which was additional profit for you. Yeah. Do you see how harsh it was?
Don't be nice to your friends, basically.
It wasn't. You understand what I'm saying? He wasn't a friend. It was just some random guy that I'd never met before and never saw again afterwards. Yeah. But he basically, what I realized was, sometimes you've already made the sale. So if people ask for something else, you don't have to say yes. That was what I think that was sort of what, like, some of the fish shops do. If someone wants a fish and the fish is worth that value, then just because someone says, "Can I have a discount on it?" doesn't mean that they automatically deserve the discount, because the person wants the fish. So that was it, and that has stuck with me. And I have actually thought about that a few other times in my life at much larger sales. But yeah, so. I'm not sure I got the lesson I learned across properly. I
understand. I still do the opposite. Anytime I sell anything, I'll sell a coral, and as soon as I've sold it, I'm like, right, what else can I give them? And to be fair, most of the time I don't. But every now and then I'm like, right, do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want this? And even when I sold my camera on eBay recently, I sold it pretty quick. I priced it keenly, so I sold it quite quickly. But as soon as I sold it, I was like, right, what else can I chuck in? I gave him an SD card free, and I was like, oh, I've got a battery spare. I give, and I always want to do that, so I need to train myself out of it and screw people over, is what you're telling me.
No, I think I think the difference is being able to identify whether someone is taking advantage of you. Is the thing. So it's not unusual for people to get free corals, and when they buy a box of coral for me, and I was just sending an extra one free. If I got too much or something, then and the other thing that I do sometimes in the coral farm, if I have a good customer that comes regularly and I know it's not going to like take the piss, if they want something, let's say they want something which is £100, and maybe I've grown it myself, so you can sell it cheaper. Remember that I have overheads too. But if they go, oh look, can I have it? And I say, look, you've spent plenty of money today. Is there anything else you want? You get to pick the price. I don't do this so much anymore. Someone burnt me once, and it wasn't the customer; it was the customer's wife. Because she went, okay, if that applies, I'll have that torch car, and I'll have it for £20. and after I said that people can choose their own price, I couldn't back out of it, and I gave it. It might not have been a torch car, but it was a significantly reduced, and I gave it to them because I'm a man of my word. So that I learned a lesson then as well.
That
person might actually be listening. So, but I've always said that I look after the people that look after me. And there was a guy that that I didn't know him particularly well. And I said, look, I'm desperate. I need someone to help me help me move the water box tank. And he went, no problem, I'll come help you. And he turned up on the day, whereas other people who I'd known more didn't turn up. And imagine I got 5 people waiting there. I need a 6th person. So the guy turned up, and ever since then, and he probably is listening. Like the other day, he helped me with something where we did a tank move, and I went, here, you can have the tank for free. And it was like a Red Sea tank, like because I got what I needed from it, and he got a Red Sea tank. So it's
funny, isn't it? Because as soon as someone does something nice for you, you feel obliged. You want to do something nicer back, don't you?
Yeah. He gets cheaper corals or like everything because he helped me out. So
yeah.
And not everyone is like that. So I really appreciate the people that go, because he did it for no reason. He did it for he moved the tank for no benefit for himself. And I don't believe that he thought, oh, if I help Ryan, I'll get something back in return in the long run. Because he just goes, I help him.
Because he's nice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love people who like helping people.
So Jamie's like that. Yeah. Jamie helps me all the time. And that's we've we'll digress again, but part of my week in reefing, I went to Jamie's house yesterday, and Jamie has this massive tank you have to get in, so he needs someone to help him when he's fragging corals. It was a great time. And he sent me a message after saying thank you. And I was like, you don't need to say thank you. It was brilliant. So there you go. Chris, he is in the chat. See, Stacey and Chris, he's the person who helped me move the tank. So there you go. Be more, everyone, be more like Chris.
Be more Chris. There was so I tried to give Jamie when I finished using my reef bar, I decided I didn't want it.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? Yeah.
I tried to give it to him for free. And he said, what do you drink? I'll buy you something to drink. I was like, I drink champagne, mate. And I was like, no. I was like, no, just get me some Peroni. And he bought me a bottle of champagne and a crate of Peroni and a gift card. I was like, no, I'm trying to give you this for free. But because he gave me a stylo, what's it called? The Red Sea stylo, what they call Milka stylo. He gave me a Milka stylo a couple of months ago. I was like, well, this is repaying the fee. I don't want this. I didn't pay anything for it. I don't need it. I know it's worth something, but I didn't pay anything for it. So
that's the other thing.
But this is it. This is. I love it when I love when people are like that, and they're like, because like you and I do the same as well. So I'll bring a coral down to you. Sometimes I'll give it to you for free or whatever, and then next time you'll be like, oh no, why don't you have this? And I'm like, no, all right. In that case, you can have this for free.
So what we're saying, basically, if you have a chance to meet someone else in a fish shop that you can be fish friends with. Like Alex and I are fish friends, or Alex and I and Jamie are fish friends. It makes a massive difference to like your hobby, because you can share stuff with each and you can go to fish shops together. I've been thinking about how to do this. I really, really would love to have, and I don't really want to like do it at the house, but to have something where like everyone can meet each other. Because it's nice. It's nice. I want to be able to give that to other people. And sometimes when like I have customers and they all like, I usually have set times for customers. And sometimes if one person is running late and then the one person turns up at their time and then someone turns up early, you've got 3 people there at the same time. and it's harder for me because obviously I'm used to dealing with people on a one-to-one basis, but they love it. So why can't we get it so that we can get a load of people together?
Do you know what? We've talked about this for too long now. I bet it's been at least 6 months, maybe a year, and we started talking about, we should do this. The New Year's resolution.
Yeah, but it needs to be in a fish shop. It can't just be in a coffee shop. It has to be somewhere. Now, I don't massively want to do it here because, as I said, this is my house, and it's different having one person. But if you've got like 20 or 30 people come to your house, it's not the same. But I know Jamie has been saying for ages that he wants to have a Prestige Reef barbecue here.
Yeah.
Which I said is fine if he provides the barbecue and does all the cooking. Then I don't particularly mind because I'm vegetarian, so it's a bit more difficult. So
okay,
and it has to be the summer.
All right, I'll bring the beers.
There you go. 30 people. Alex is supplying the beers. So
oh yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
We'll water it down. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can't remember how we got onto that or where we got to.
I can't remember.
I
think we are on. Are we on the fish of the week? Or
yeah, let's do fish of the week.
Okay, so the last fish which I haven't. Oh no, I have one more resolution that I want to talk about. This is probably the most important thing. So the hobby is divided into different parts, and like I only really focus on one part of the hobby, which is I only do coral, which is actually the smallest part of the hobby. If you think about it, you have people that buy tanks and stuff like that, and I'm not going into to dry goods or anything because it's too much hassle when I have to have a shop. But I am going in. The person that I import fish from, they send me fish lists all the time. So I just thought, and I now have a full fish system. So I'm going to be selling fish like properly. They're not going to be quarantine fish. However, the difference is I obviously we use this system as a quarantine tank. I have all of the quarantine medication. I will be running the copper levels at a therapeutic level. And also I have everything I need to treat them. And it's different treating a small tank as opposed to treating one of those massive Maidenhead shop systems. If you see
that's similar to a lot of shops do that. They'll treat at certain levels, but because fish are coming in all the time, you're not getting a proper. So you'll be the same. There'll be some kind of treatment, but
it won't be. Yes, it probably won't be where I'm importing fish all the time. And I will only be doing it to local people. Now, I'm not sure how to get that message across, if you see what I mean, because I'm not going to be putting them on the website. It's literally going to be like a more local thing. So if you are within, I don't know, 45 minutes of where I live or an hour, what you should do is you send me an email with like saying like, this is something that I'm interested in.
So first off, where are you? You're Thacombe in.
So I'm in Thacombe, my postcode's everywhere. So
West Sussex.
It's RH20 3QX is my postcode. So I'm in West Sussex. And
do you mind if I put that on the internet, a map?
It's on every single one of my videos.
Okay, in that
so
case.
That's not actually my official like address. It's like just next to that. So
that red dot is where Ryan is.
Yeah.
And that's Worthing.
that's Worthing. Yeah.
That's Crawley for reference.
So basically, I will. As I said, and there's some fish, things like copper bands and stuff like that I have like really good success with. There might be some specific fish that I will be like going into, and that's it. The reason I'm not going to put them on the website is it's a lot of work it's not a lot of work, but it's more work to do it that way. I'm not sure how I'll go about doing it, but I just think, why would I not go into another area of the hobby? And there was a little bit of I realized the quarantine tank is nothing like a normal fish system. It's like nothing like it. It made me appreciate shops so much more because it's a lot harder to run a quarantine that tank than it is to run a display tank. It's a lot more work, a lot more glass to clean. You have to siphon them out. You don't have to siphon a normal tank very often, but you have to siphon them out. Ed was saying he did it every couple of days. Why have you just remembered something? Have you?
So I did a water change on my quarantine tank a little while ago, and I posted this photo on Instagram. This was the water that I siphoned out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like that. If I told you that was a toilet bowl, you'd believe me. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is disgusting. So basically, I just thought I've got this system upstairs. I'm going to be running it. I'm keeping running it. I'm going to be running it for quarantining my own fish anyway, but not all the time. So I'll go through batches of quarantining my own fish and then probably getting other fish in, or I'll get my own fish and quarantine those and have other people's fish as well. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it, but basically, if you're within like an hour, that is something that I'm going to be doing, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but the best way to say I'm interested is to send me an email. And if you want to put my email down there as well, which is just Ryan at prestigereef.co.uk, I'll add everyone to a list, and then I'll maybe send an email and go, look, these are the fish I've imported, or whatever.
Ryan at prestigereef.co.uk. I've posted it in the chat.
Yeah. So, but as I said, the coral web, I think once you start, the coral website is a specific website for corals, and I think once you start dabbling in other things, it makes it look less professional.
Yeah, okay.
It's like coral people are. It's about, you can buy coral from other places, but it's about like, how do I put it? Like if you saw a tank full of Aptasia, then it doesn't represent the shop very well, does it? And the website is exactly the same. If you were the one who basically made me go and update all my pictures to go, look, this is your shop front. You need to make it look professional. If all of a sudden I'm putting pictures of fish on there and on the homepage, it doesn't look like a coral website. It looks like a mishmax of all other things. So, but this could be something where I get into fish big, potentially.
10 years time, you've got a shop and a warehouse. You're selling lights, power heads, fish, corals.
No.
But
what I'm saying is like I'm dabbling in it, and if it's well worth it, this is what I did with the coral. I dabbled in coral, and was it well worth it? Yep. So then I built a coral farm. If I dabble in fish, if it's well worth it, I'll expand. So I think Rachel might have something to say if I want to put a shop system in the living room, but
so you heard it here first. In 5 years' time, we're gonna have a warehouse, a shop, and freshwater pond. You know, the works. Garden centre.
I want to do really, really well this year. That's what I want. That's my resolution. And I think if I try harder and look for different things that to sell to people, like if I can have success selling coral because of the website and the YouTube channel, there's no reason I can't have huge success selling fish as well. It is a different thing.
Are you licensed to sell fish?
Yeah. That's what my pet shop license is for. So you don't actually have to have a pet shop license to sell coral.
Oh, of course you don't. You
don't.
Yeah.
So, but it's about going. The reason I get it done is about going. This is like I am a serious establishment, if you see what I mean. Like I'm not someone who's not doing this as their full-time job. I'm doing this seriously. So yeah, you never know. Aqua's got fish for sale this year. Although I think that really would be a bad idea. I think it would be hard work to take coral and fish down.
Yeah.
So
especially if it's just you as the expert.
Yeah, it's not that. It's like if you think about how many fish you can fit in a tank and how many corals you can fit in a tank, you can sell a lot more coral than you can sell fish. But I do think people who aren't me should take fish. because it's exciting.
It would be awesome. I'd love it. Yeah. You can breed black mollies, Ryan.
Well, I don't know if they are breeding yet, but they're like real because they're in the quarantine system and they're all together. I put them all in the same tank now. They are like so fat because those fish get so much food, and the mollies don't care about the copper, so they just go around hoovering up whatever's left. So, but they're actually great for keeping tanks clean. I realised.
Yeah, I am going to get one for my. I plan on getting 3 for my sump tank.
Yeah, so that is it.
Disappointed in myself.
Prestige Reef fish. So
Prestige Reef goldfish.
Goldfish, yeah.
Cool. So there we go. We've got prestige fish.
Yeah.
Prestige Reef fish.
Is it Rudra has had focusing more on corals as well? Yeah, that's another thing. Why don't I expand more into soft corals? Because soft corals are like massive, but they're not my thing. And the reason they're not my thing is because they're not what I'm passionate about. But it shouldn't matter what I'm passionate about. This is a business. This is what other people are passionate about. It's not what I care about.
Yeah.
So in the end, you're right. I'll have koi carp. I'm like, oh, the supplier that sends the coral list and the fish list, also they sell a koi carp list.
They sell reptiles. Oh, I could do puppies and kittens. You know.
Look, if there's money in it, I'll do it. I like that. That's how, if the money is worth the effort. That's like. I don't care. It wouldn't matter to me if I was selling Pokemon cards or like Lego figures or anything. If I'll try anything, and if it works, I'll expand on it.
I was going to make a smutty joke, but I'm not going to do that.
I'm not sure what you were going to suggest.
We'll move on.
Yeah.
All right. So that's your other resolution. Cool.
Yes.
Prestige Reef Fish of the Week.
Okay. I actually technically got a few fish for myself, but so I just remembered I forgot that I also got a fox face.
That's the point. Soft corals are gateway corals.
Yeah, true. I got a lemon peel angelfish for the tank. No, that's not the picture I want you to show. I want you to show the juvenile picture. That's what I specifically told you. That's what makes this interesting. I had, in all the years, in 17 years, I had never seen a juvenile lemon peel angelfish. And it turns out they have they have a blue spot on the side of them. So I have yeah, I'd never known that.
That's a lemon peel. That's just a normal lemon peel.
It's a normal lemon peel angelfish. It's not even a tank bred one. It's just a normal lemon peel angelfish.
They're quite cute as well.
and I just thought that is, when I saw it, I was like, I need to have that.
Yeah.
There's not that often these days where I see a fish and I absolutely fall in love with it.
Yeah, okay.
And when I saw it, I was like, it is the same, like, you know, they're all of the little way, they're all small, the angelfish I've got. It's the same size. And I went, yep, I instantly fell in love with it.
I'm absolutely convinced. I'm going to go back and watch one. We did a series of live streams when it was me versus you, right? And angelfish was one of them.
No, you're right. You're going to say I didn't like it. I didn't want one. Yes.
You hated the lemon peel angelfish. I think it's the most amazing fish in the world.
But at the moment, I've got to catch them all when it comes to when it comes to dwarf angels. I'm looking at all of them. I was like, oh, a bicolor. Yeah, I could get a bicolor. I could get, because you've got to add them all at the same time. So you've got to buy them quickly. So the lemon peel is actually for the next round of quarantine. So that's for so once these fish have gone through, like I've got 5 to go in there. I'm going to put that into the quarantine, and I'll start collecting more. Collecting is probably the wrong word, really, for fish, isn't it? Like, how is it keeping more? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't really like bicolors, and I'm also not really a fan of coral beauties. Like, and people think I'm mental.
I want to like coral beauties, but I don't.
I think when they're smaller, they're better. But when they're like the big and dark ones, I'm not so much of a fan of. No. But I also think that if I've got all those angelfish, then adding a coral beauty will add to it. Like it will. Like, I don't know. It could be absolutely chaos when I first put them in. But I have done it before with success, where I had 7. But I'm talking about having like probably 15 of them, like, or if there are like whatever species I can get that aren't like ridiculous. I see someone just said, Polymates just said about a midnight angelfish. I actually wanted a midnight angelfish the other day.
You don't have the black background.
When I saw one, I was like, oh yeah, I know, but it's kind of like that thing where I said I could never see it. So, but I don't know, maybe not. I think when a tank's full of coral, the black background won't be as bad.
That's true,
because the fish don't leave the rockwork. Like, angelfish usually stay close to the rockwork. My other theory is that having the king eye in there is like
angelfish.
I'm telling you, when you see it in person, it's like really, really. I actually really liked it because of just how like pitch. Don't like that one. That's not.
That looks like a duff coral beauty to me.
That's not the same as the Centropyge Nox, which is the other ones. The one at the bottom, the blue one, is a Centropyge Debore, I believe. Which is, so there are a few different ones that look similar, but I don't like the Centropyge. Is it Debore?
Yeah. There you go. That's the one.
That was named, the person who discovered that, he named it after his wife, who was called Deborah.
Oh, really? That's
cool. So I don't like those ones, and I wouldn't like the I don't like rusty angels either. Rusty angels, they look like sickly.
Aren't they like a poor man's golden angel?
No, rusty angels are like sickly coral beauties, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love a cherub. I don't know why. I'd love a cherub. Yeah, they're not for me.
No.
This has turned into like an angelfish live stream.
I know, yeah.
I actually saw an angelfish for the first. I can't remember what it is now. I've literally forgotten the name of it. There was an angelfish which I'd never seen before, and I was like, how is that? How has it got this far? I've never seen this angelfish, but I can't remember the name of it. So I'll have to do it as a fish for a week another day.
Is it one of these fish? Because I've just seen a group of.
No, I like that first one as well. The very, very first one that's there. It's an acquired taste.
This one?
Yeah. I think it's called
like a Tinker's butterfly. I'm sure it's not, but
I think it's a Griff's. Is that the Griff's angelfish? Or is that what's the first one? I might be wrong with that.
Go away. I don't want cookies. Leave me alone. Oh God, what? No, go away. Oh. Right,
yeah, it is a Griff's angelfish, and I like them because
okay.
they look like mimes. You know, with the clowns where they've got like the white paint and the black diamonds on their eyes. Yeah. That's why I like them. So I also like goldflakes, but as I said, I don't want these are big angelfish. I don't want big angelfish. I want small ones.
So at Jamie's Reef on Instagram has a goldflake angel. It started eating his John Deere Leptostraya.
I saw it yesterday. I'm like, look, I like
this is what you've got coming your way, but 6 times as bad.
No, it'll be
fine. No, it won't. It'll be terrible. It'll be a disaster.
Look, my theory is as long as they don't eat frog spawns and hammers, like I will literally fill the entire tank with frog spawns and hammers. They're easy. It would make a stunning display tank, a tank full of just those. And you'll get away with some SPS as well anyway. But if they don't eat those, I'm happy. I'll be content because I will fill the entire tank. I'll just import a load from Indonesia of hammers and frog spawns of all different colors, fill the whole tank with them, and then have the fish as the main like focus point. So yeah, I promise you, I'm not even remotely worried about the fish eating the coral. If I put them all in and they start eating it, I'll just go, this was what I signed up for.
Just gonna write that down.
I'm gonna add them to the list. I'm like,
yeah. We're going to have a conversation in 2 months' time, and you're going to be like, "Oh no, this is."
I promise you, I do not care. This tank was always about the fish. So
he doesn't care, people. You heard that, didn't you?
No. As I said,
I'm going to be so smug. Oh, I'm going to be so smug.
Like, no, but I'm expecting them to eat stuff. I'm expecting them to.
I still think you're underestimating. I think it's going to be pandemonium.
No, it all comes down to what you choose. You saw Christian's tank. He has like 15
meters long.
I think it's 5 meters long, but it doesn't matter
15 feet,
because the angels aren't eating the coral. They actually aren't eating it. But the corals that are in there, like he can't have mushrooms, he can't have zoas, he can't have all these other corals. They're just specific species which he can have, and you can still make a beautiful tank based on those species.
This is very true.
So that's my plan. And
the fish of the week is
hobby from angelfish.
And the fish of the week then is the lemon peel angel, the fish you previously said you didn't like.
Yes, I did, and you liked it because you were like, "It's so bright coloured. It's the brightest coloured yellow."
Cool. They're so awesome. I love them.
But that's what our taste in the hobby changes all the time over the years. I remember originally I said I would never have corals ever, never ever. Really? Then I said no. Yeah, originally I was like had no interest. Then someone gave me a coral for free, and I was like, "It's living." And that was sort of got me into it. It was actually a fish shop that gave it to me, which I now realize what they were doing. They've had plenty of money out of me over the years. But yeah, and then I went, I'll never have SPS corals, and then I loved SPS corals for a period of time.
Gateway drug, you see.
Yeah,
I bet it was a soft coral. What was it?
It was actually I think it was green star polyps and an encrusting orgonian is what those first 2 corals were.
There you go.
So and it was great. And that's why when people come to me and they're relatively new to the hobby, I try to go, look, you try these out first, because these will give you that feeling of like that good feeling, and that good feeling can secure you in the hobby for a long time. So anyway, moving on. The next car of the week.
Prestige Week car of the week.
Yes, I've gone for a Sophastria Decadia. I'm not sure if I've done this before. There are two different color variations of Sophastria Decadia. So if I did it before, this is a different color variation. This is one of those corals which doesn't have a name. There are two different, like most corals.
I bet it does.
I don't think it does.
Someone would have named it somewhere.
Yeah, probably. But if I said to you a Jingle Bell Sophastria,
yeah, it's true.
You know that what a Jingle Bell Sophastria is, but for some reason people use the scientific name as a Sophastria.
People either say branching Sophastria or Sophastria Decadia. Yeah.
But more often than not, they use the scientific name for this coral than they do. It's the same as with.
Look at that featured coral of the week, Aquanerd.
There you go. That's the other color variation. I have both. One of them has.
Yeah.
One of them has a silver background, and one of them has a pink background or a purple background. But they're
I'll tell you what, you should go onto aquanerd.com and just copy his coral of the week.
No, true. But yeah, they're one of my favorite corals, and I will try one of these in the angelfish tank.
Yeah, okay.
The reason I like them is because they have a weird growth pattern.
They're quite clumpy, aren't they? They're not. They're not like proper branching like an SPS, a normal SPS.
No,
they're just kind of.
Look, to some extent. Look, there is a picture there of it properly branching, just to the left, or maybe it's right. Yeah, there. Is that like? Yeah,
but you wind on 6 months and it will look different. They're similar to, not quite the same, but they're similar to Montiporus atosa, which is again it does branch a little bit, but it's more of like a blob.
Yeah,
They're not quite the same, but.
A meteor shower. Someone's in the comments said a meteor shower Sophastria is a different coral to that, but it's the same like species. They're both Sophastrias.
Meteor shower Sophastria, I think, is the same as a Bizarro Sophastria.
No, they're different.
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah, 100% they're different. A meteor shower, the Bizarro has like these like bright orange polyps, and then like a darker blue background, I think. And then a meteor shower, I think, is more of like it's like a lighter blue color. So if you show me a picture, I'll be able to tell you which one.
Is that a Bizarro?
I don't know what that is a Bizarro, yes.
Okay. And is that a meteor shower?
That's a bad photo. No, I think meteor showers are done more of that. Yeah, that they're more like a bluey with
that one.
Look, Tidal Gardens is a top picture. He'll know what a meteor shower is.
Tidal Gardens, there you
but they are definitely different.
Yeah, okay.
I would say that is a meteor shower, yes.
People label them as the same in that case, because I've seen several times a coral that I've been like, I thought that was the other one.
Yeah, really. Okay. Look, there's lots of things. Even now, I'm not that confident. Even I said, Potter's Angels are about.
Really?
Yeah, they've so Christian has a Potter's Angel, like one of their tank bred these days, little tiny ones.
Where I want a Potter's Angel.
I think they're a lot of money. I think they cost.
I want a Potter's Wrasse if I'm asking.
Potter's Angels were like, I remember when they were like 70 quid, but they never ate anything. And you could get them all the time, but then you could just never get a meeting. Whereas I think they're probably quite a lot more. I don't know how much they are, but if you Google tank bred Potter's Angel, it might come up. But
I've not. This isn't tank bred, but these are.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a boring photo, but I think they're awesome.
Google tank bred and see if the small ones come up.
Tank bred. Oh my. There we go.
See the very, very first picture that comes up. That's what that's what they look like.
Oh yeah, Abyss.
They're like quite cute, but they're also like really small.
He looks like he looks a bit weird. He looks like he's been punched in the face, if I'm honest. No offense, Potter's Angel.
That's my only hesitation with regards to especially some first generation or early breeding. I'm not sure how they managed to just like sort the yellow tangs out, because the yellow tangs looked a bit ropey at first.
But people learn, don't they? So the more you do stuff, the more you understand. And
yeah, but I suppose the only thing, if you think about it, that would probably have changed like the shape and whether they were stunted and stuff like that first was probably their diet. So they probably changed their diet, and then they were coming out better and better, which they can then transfer onto other fish they're breeding.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a good photo of a Potter's Wrasse, but they're all pretty bad. But a Potter's Wrasse is like the most amazing. This is the best photo you can find. Live Aquaria. They're usually pretty good. Potter's Wrasse. You don't like Potter's Wrasse?
Look, I like them. I just know that they're a bit finicky, and
yeah,
I reckon they'll cost a lot of money these days. And if you're spending a lot of money on a finicky fish, you've got bigger balls than me, I can assure you.
This is true. This is Hawaiian.
Yeah.
So
It's like
Hawaiian
when
brine.
people like Achilles tangs are nice. They're not for me. Like
You love
and
Achilles tangs.
no,
You've talked about getting one for your water box.
I have considered getting one many times, but another blackfish, which the Achilles are one of those fish where you go, it's nice. Is it worth it? Is it worth the aggression? Is it worth the disease issues? Is it? I don't know. There
And the
are nice
answer is no
fish.
for 99.99%
Yeah,
of people.
yeah.
They are cool fish, though. I agree with that. Okay, so that is the Prestige Reef Fish of the Week and the Prestige Reef Coral of the Week.
Yes.
And you know what that means, don't you?
It's the news.
It smells of burnt logs in here, and what that means is that my missus has put a fire on because we've got a log burning stove in the living room, and it means she's put a fire on. She's let it get to the logs burn down, so they're almost gone, and then she's opened the door, so it gets really smoky.
Okay.
The whole bloody house smells of smoke. So
Just before you start news, that just reminded me of something. Yesterday, while Jamie was in his wetsuit on top of the tank, he was all of a sudden there was this really, really intense smell of burning rubber. It's because the kettle was burning through his wetsuit.
the what? The kettle?
The kettle.
Oh, the kettle. Oh, I
kettle
see.
light. I'm amazed at how hot they must get. Like if it's touching his wetsuit because and it's burning it enough to like make it smell that real intense smell of burning rubber, they must be so hot.
Yeah.
That's what you just reminded me. Anyway, the news.
The news. And I've just moved my news. Where's my news? My list of news. Ryan, what are you doing to me? Right. First piece of news is I'll bring up my list in a sec. First piece of news. This isn't really news as such, but I found an Instagram page, channel, whatever, that I really like, and I thought it was worth sharing. The guy's name is Nordic Reefer. His name is Espen, and I think Espen is a Norwegian name, and he's Nordic, which includes Norway. So I'm going to work on the assumption that he's Norwegian. But he's got some. For a start, he posts a lot of photos to Instagram, which not a lot of people do, and that's what Instagram used to be for, and it's what I use it for mostly, and it's what I like seeing. I prefer seeing photos to reels and all that sort of stuff. But he's really good quality photos. Some videos, of course, but really good quality photos. He's got some really nice corals and fish.
That's a mystery wrasse, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it is a mystery wrasse. Yeah. And that's a cool photo as well. Look at that's a really cool photo actually.
Yeah.
So Nordic.reefer is his name, and he's got 1,200 followers. I don't know how long he's been going. Doesn't look like he's been going. Here's his first post, 17 weeks. So I suspect he will have more than 1,000 followers in a short period of time because he's really, really good. He's obviously a very talented reefer.
He follows me, and I now follow him. There you go.
He follows you, does he? Does he follow me?
Yeah, I think he does.
Might not do too far. I don't know how to tell. I hate Instagram.
I'm going to do this on the live stream just because it'll be funny for me.
What you do?
Oh, he does follow you, yeah.
Yeah,
I should have said no. I should have said no just to see your reaction.
I know. I'd have liked what you can delete stuff in YouTube afterwards. So I'd have deleted this section. But no, he's really, really good. I just love his photos, and he's a talented reef keeper because his corals are really healthy. He's got some good tasting corals. He's a stickhead, so he likes his SPS.
Yeah.
And just really cool photos. I really liked it. So there you go. Next thing was, have you ever heard of a company called Sea Dreams?
A lot of fish companies all sound quite similar.
They are not a fish company.
Oh, no, probably not.
I think they're based in Indonesia because it says Sea Dreams brackets Raja Ampat, which is a coral triangle in Indonesia, isn't it? And the reason that this caught my eye, and you will have seen these before, to be fair, but they make tanks with, the easiest way is to show you. So the sump and cabinet is exposed, and there aren't supports on all corners. So one corner has no support. It's like a floating cantilever, I think is the word. Yeah. It's a floating style tank, and that I'm sure that is an expensive tank, but that is cool as hell. Where's the weird box? Is it?
What is wrong with you?
On that one. What do you mean? What's wrong with me?
What's wrong with you?
Is that not cool?
Okay, now what does your sump look like at the moment?
A complete and utter state, and I would have to.
Would you like it on display?
But no, this is true, and you'd have to. I did think about that actually because I started. They do a small tank, and I was like, "Ooh, I could buy one to replace the Cade," because I think about this sort of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
and I did think, oh, I'd have to keep it pristine all the time. But look, I'm not about to go out and buy one, and it wouldn't suit me because I have cables everywhere and silt in the sun and all that sort of stuff. But they are cool. You've got it. That looks cool.
Look, I don't dispute that it looks cool. It would look cool if it was kept pristine. See,
I've seen that one before.
I don't like that look. That is pristine, and I still don't like it.
You like what's the Mrs. Emotions, and that's pristine.
You know, I don't know, but you can't see all the equipment. I'm assuming. I don't remember.
No.
I don't mind having a print. No, I'm talking about a reef
okay.
tank should be like a piece of art. Also,
but that's like architecture, architecture.
No, we differ on this. It will look like that very, very briefly, and it looks cool, and people will probably buy it. And look, any company which does that, anyone who wants to do anything, I support. Yeah. So I hate when I'm saying something like this because it's like I'm being negative on what they've designed, and the people will buy it, but it's not.
But these people, they're not trying to mass produce tanks. They're not trying to compete with Red Sea. Their customer is not your average Joe. I dread to think how much those cabinets cost, because there's got to be some. There's got to be some
serious like in that stand.
Yeah, and design and all that sort of stuff. So they're not trying to advertise to people like you and me. It's special people who want the best of the best and that sort of stuff. Or
we look how I'm looking at it is like there is an evolution in the hobby with things, and I look at it and go, is that an evolution or is that just a different way? And I don't see it as an evolution.
Completely. No, it's just a gimmick effectively. But I just think they look really cool, and it wouldn't suit me. I wouldn't have one. Yeah. But they just look so cool.
I would. Like that would be my worst nightmare. Also, skimmers are so ugly as well. Like when they get all the stuff like inside them and everything. Like, why would you want that on display?
Yeah, I know. No, you're absolutely right. But on day one, it looks cool.
I'll get a message from them going, "Why did you sell this now?" But look, it's I won't be the only person who said it.
My dad was a yacht broker before he retired, and he used to say that people often would say there are two best days of owning a yacht: the day you buy one and the day you sell one. And I feel like that would apply to a tank like that, because it would look amazing when you're setting up, and then 6 months later you're like, oh, I hate it.
Tanks need to be like easy and pretty, and then
those tanks feel like, I can imagine seeing them in like a show home of someone who's like, maybe, and I'm not saying that their customers are all like this, but someone who just like, they just want something to look cool and they've got someone to take care of it and hoover the sump and all this sort of stuff. Because actually do the work to keep that tidy would be a pain. Anyway, I'm banging my head against a brick wall here.
You're never going to convince me.
I'm just going to move on. I'm not trying to convince you. I just
this
think
is what will
cool.
happen. They'll go, Ryan, would you like to have one of our tanks? And also, we'll give you £20,000 that way. I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Well, if you give me 20 grand. But what will happen is this is going to be like the lemon peel angel all over again. In 6 months' time, you're going to be like, no, actually, he's right, because he's right about everything. So
no, not a chance.
All right. Well, we're going to move on, and this is to a teaser. That's something, and this is the tagline that's been posted about this from the company is something exciting is heading your way this January.
It's the worst January.
And the teaser is this video, the first wave, and then it breaks away and it's a tank.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that clip on Instagram or somewhere.
Yeah, this is Instagram. Yeah. So this is Tropical Marine Centre, and it's called. I'm guessing the tank is going to be called the First Wave. And actually, so Brian, who we had on recently, friend of the show, the guy who loves to pull you up when you make mistakes about fish. Yeah, I think this is a new tank. It looks a lot like a Fluval Evo, so it looks like they've taken inspiration from the Fluval, which is no bad thing because it's a really nice looking tank.
Yeah, if it works.
And Brian talked a lot about how their mission is to get more people into the hobby, and one of the best ways is to produce one of the best ways to do that is to produce an affordable tank that is manageable as well. And so small tanks fit into that category very, very much so. So
can you play it again? Because now I know it's a tank. Because I paid more attention to the first bit than the second bit. I saw that ad and went, oh, there's a new thing coming, and then I just went, oh, wait till January. Oh, it's gone.
Here we go. The first wave coming soon. New tank. Quick. Can you pause it?
Oh, yeah,
Yes, there you
yeah.
go.
So yeah, great. Anything that gets new people in is brilliant.
Yeah,
So
so this is the end of the tank, but what you can tell from that is, for a start, it's got the little honeycomb
yeah,
black bit around the
I
top,
like
which
that.
is like Fluvilevo,
Yeah.
but it looks really cool. It looks like it's got rounded edges actually, but what else you can tell is it's a peninsula tank, because you can see through both sides. It's got a lid on it, so you don't need to worry about evaporation, or not so much anyway. It looks like that hump looks like it's got a built-in light.
Yeah.
And I would guess that and it looks like it's floating, like the Fluvilevo. I would guess this is basically their take on the Fluvilevo, let's put it that way. So it'll have a filter section at one end, and it'll be the same. Maybe it will be cheaper, maybe it'll be more expensive and a bit more premium, I don't know. But it's
It'd be
cool.
interesting to see if they've looked at other ways that. So the Fluvilevo has been around for a long time. I've never had one, but you have had one. Is there things that you would have changed about it?
Not really. I started writing a video about a review of the Fluvilevo, and I just didn't ever get around to making it. There were a couple of things I would have changed, but honestly, nothing significant. Because the beauty of it is you can upgrade it. And there were a couple of tiny little things I didn't like, but I think actually probably most people who buy them as a first, I don't like them because I like things done a certain way, because I've had different tanks and all that sort of stuff. And but it doesn't matter. And I don't. There's nothing that I would change that is like, this is terrible. It's awful. It's doing my head in. The only things, actually, the pump it came with was quite buzzy, and I'd like a quieter pump.
Yeah,
but that's about all I can do. So maybe actually, and TMC do DC quiet return pump, so it will probably come with a quieter pump. There you go. And the light was a bit rubbish. I'd like, actually, there are things. It's coming out now. The light on the Fluvilevo, it's either white or blue, and you have to flick a switch to change it between white and blue. So if you want the blue effect, every evening you got to go over and switch it over, which no one's going to do. And it doesn't have a timer, so you have to get a plug timer so it turns on and off, and therefore it can't ramp up and down.
Cool. It's like someone's asked you to, like, all of a sudden it's like listing all these things.
I know, yeah, it's awful. But even then, though, for when you get into the hobby, none of that matters. You don't need a nice ramp up period and changing colours and all this sort of, it doesn't matter. You put it on a timer, it's fine. It's just about getting used to corals and that sort of stuff.
They don't have the nano tanks. I think some people have nano tanks long term, but I think the aim of them is to go, look, make your mistakes. It's not too expensive when you make mistakes with a small tank. Like, it's actually harder to some extent with a small tank, like with keeping parameters stable. So if you can do that, you'll have better success. I know you're going to know you can do a water change easier, but no. But so
it's a classic. See, this is a great tester. Okay, so don't spend 10 grand on a big tank to make it easier, in inverted commas, for yourself. Buy a tank that's going to cost you 200 quid or whatever. And if you don't like the hobby, you've only lost 200 quid or 300 or 400 by the time you've put corals in. But
stay away from Pico tanks or Pico tanks.
Yeah, completely. 1.7. I'm not going to advertise PK tanks. Don't like it. Tom says you did a video on this upgrades for the Fluvilevo. That was different. I had a specific video written. There was a review of the video of the Fluvilevo, but the upgrades I did do, and there are ways you can upgrade it. But I never did the actual video. But there you go. So there's a new Fluvilevo competitor coming, from the looks of it, coming soon. Yeah. There's no details. I don't have release dates. I don't have prices. Don't even have a photo of the actual tank. But look out for Tropical Marine Centre on Instagram if you want more, and in your local fish shop in January. Ooh.
There you go.
What else? Okay. We're gonna move on to something that I think you will like, because we've got a bit of pleasure and a bit of pain, Brian. Okay.
How do you know I like that?
So I know the things that you don't like, and I've got a few things that you don't like.
Okay. We're getting close to the end. I can stay longer, it doesn't matter to me, but I will keep my mouth shut.
It's not long. Okay. How do you turn sound off on? There we go. Turn it off. Right. I hate Facebook. Oh no, I've just paused the bar steward. Right. There we go. I've muted it. Okay. So, news that you will like, Ryan.
Good.
Name a coral that is never been bred in captivity that you would like to be bred in captivity, that you very rarely see
Trachophilias.
That you can't import into the UK at the moment.
Trachophilias?
That look a bit like Trachophilias, but more
Well,
colourful.
it's not Scullies, I'm assuming, because Scullies have been
similar to Scullies, but bigger.
Cyanarinas? Cineres?
Acanthophilia.
Acanthophilia. Oh,
Yeah.
when you say there are loads. Okay, kind of
I
like
know.
I kind of see what you mean, but like.
Yeah. So this is so Aquarium Connections, which is an aquarium building company in the UK of good repute. They make.
Yeah.
I hate the word high end, but they do make high end aquariums, fancy aquariums. They're very nice. I got a quote from them when I set up my last tank, and it was too expensive, which probably means it's too good, which means it's good. Anyway, they've done a project with someone in Indonesia, and they've been captive breeding or captive spawning Acanthophidias.
Oh, so they're not in the UK already.
No, and these I'm guessing these acanthos are brood stock. I'm guessing the video clips of them, because if they're when we actually see them for the first time, they'll be tiny, and I think these are just the eggs and hatching, that sort of stuff. Whereas, so maybe it's coming this year. There's not an awful lot of news on it. It just says, in the past 4 months, our dedicated team has been working tirelessly to cultivate these magnificent corals. Today, we celebrate a significant milestone as we witness a successful spawning of Acanthophilia. So this is step one of like the longest steps in what the steps in Rome called. I can't remember. Anyway, step one of a number of steps. Someone tell me in the comments. I can't remember what I'm talking about. But yeah, so long way away from being able to buy a captive bred, captive spawned Acanthophilia, but that's a cool story.
That is cool. It'd be interesting to see if that will be. Oh God! Can you produce more if you're captive?
Spanish steps. Sorry.
if you're captive spawning corals, can you produce more than you can find? Like
well, I mean, you can't find them. Well, you can find them, but you can't bring them in.
I know what you're saying. But what I mean is, like, if you could bring them, like America can bring them in, could you? Can you spawn more? Because there's millions of eggs in the sperm, isn't it? Usually with corals, is it the same with those?
So I'm sure it is the same. But the difficulty, basically, this is based on what Monsoon Aquatics, exactly, have been doing in Australia with Scullies, is growing them out. It takes a long time. And then when they do sell them, they're tiny, which actually is not necessarily a bad thing because people like small corals. But corals like that take a long time to grow, so maybe it's not such a good thing. But yeah, it'll be a while. But in theory, you absolutely can, if you can get it right, and you can spawn hundreds or thousands of them. Wicked. But it'll take a while for them to grow.
Now's when we need to be doing this, because
completely, when before we have to, basically. And I'm afraid, Ryan, we're gonna have to move on to some pain.
It's all right. We'll see the end of the live stream. I'll leave you to wrap up. I'll see you later.
There's a new light that has come out to the market.
Okay.
It is from a company called Kello-Ray, Chinese company, and they're called the AL series. They're a bit like the Philips Coral Care in that it's a massive slab. Yeah. And it's passively cooled, so it hasn't got fans, which means it's really heavy. And there's a 150 watt and a 200 watt. The 200 watt weighs 4.5 kilos, which is what, 8 pounds, not 10 pounds, something like that, a lot of weight. It's heavy. The 150 watt costs 720 pounds and is available for back order, whatever that means. So don't know when it's coming out. There's no price on the 200 watt, and this is what they look like. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
It's a light.
Actually, one thing that's quite interesting, they says they come with anti-glare lenses, which is potentially good because a lot of lights. So I never on my lights on both my tanks, I never feel glare off them. Yeah. But a lot of lights do kind of point at your eyes, so maybe that's a good thing. Anyway, the good news is, so go on. What are you going to say? Have you got a comment on lights? Go on.
I have no comment. I was thinking anti-glare. Is that just like some marketing?
It might be bullshit.
Thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I start to see things now, and you like I can't think of an explanation, but you look more deeply into them, and you go, "That's just someone's just written that as a marketing person.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
It doesn't actually mean anything."
No, is it entirely possible that doesn't mean anything and that it's no different? And because actually the reason you get glare is because the lens is spread light
Yeah.
wide, which you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, so
actually.
basically they're going the lights you don't, the spread you don't want.
But you know what? If they figured out a way to get the spread without getting glare, then great. Although I've never had a light that I've thought, wow, the glare on that is terrible.
Neither have I.
And I've had a lot of lights.
So.
But to be fair, the first time you set up any lights, you do think, it's a bit glary, but you just get used to it. But yeah, there you go. The other thing that it's being distributed, and this is from reefkeepingnews.com, which we featured last week. It's being distributed by Ocean Sea Products, which is the company behind the sea sweeps. I can't remember what they're called. Ocean Sea Wave, the guy at Aqua. He was a really nice guy. Mark, I forgot his surname, but Mark someone or other. So
do we add him friend of the show? Is he?
He's not been on the show.
That's
so
true.
I don't think
he had to be on the show
him.
to be friend of the show.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Final piece of news, Ryan. Good news. It's another light.
I just realised this is off friend of the show's website, isn't it?
Friend of the show, Jeremy Gay's website, yes. reefkeepingnews.com. Which is so actually I went on, so obviously I do my normal rounds. No, I did check a couple of other. So I do my normal rounds. Some of the stuff I found elsewhere, but I do my normal rounds, and on Reef Builders I went to look at Reef Builders, which I always do, and there were lots of articles on there, but there was no news that I hadn't featured before. Yeah. Whereas on reefkeepingnews.com, this is my main source now. It's just it's brilliant. It's really, really good. So reefkeepingnews.com, check it out. It's probably on Facebook as well. I should go and check that out. Anyway. Another light is from TMC, friend of the show TMC.
yeah.
And they brought out. So this is potentially good actually. It's called an Aquaray P2.
Yeah.
It's for nano tank. It's 11.5. It's 12 centimeters by 12 centimeters. It's very small. What's that? 5 and a bit inches, 6 inches.
I've got square. 2 of them.
You've got 2 of them. Oh really?
Them. Yeah. Well, I had them at the at Aqua.
Oh, interesting.
And
definitely the P2s, not the P5s or the P9s.
I'm 9. Oh, that's true. I don't know. Okay, maybe I don't then. I
you might be lying. But so anyway, I think this is potentially a new one. It's a nano version of that. They're 24 watts, which is the closest thing I can think of as an equivalent of 24 watts is I think the Kessel A160 is around 20 watts.
Yeah.
The AI Prime is about 45 watts, I think. So this is smaller than an AI Prime. So it's for nano tanks. It will be for things like a water box 25. Is it 25 and the 15? Those sorts of small cube kind of shaped tanks, small cube nano tanks. It's 160 quid. And I think it might even be available now.
I'm almost certain that's the one I have. Really? Maybe I'm wrong. What I'll do is I'm going to go back and watch my Aqua video because in that the one before Aqua when I'm setting up, they're in that video. I was actually genuinely, I actually quite liked them. When so obviously I had them set up and I had never had them on corals before. So I was a bit hesitant because they're like a light that's easy to set up to put onto a temporary tank for me. And they're not expensive. TMC actually provide them for me. They provide them for a few of the coral vendors at the show. And when I put them on, because on the other tank I had Radions, and I was like, I wonder if there's going to be a big difference, like a noticeable difference. And the color pop on them, I actually really liked the color pop on them. I don't know what was different about them or anything, but I genuinely I was like, my expectations were exceeded, if you see what I mean.
Okay.
Well, as I said, it might not be those exact ones. I might have the P5 or whatever, but
it'll be one of the. So if you want to see what those lights look like on camera, watch this video. That's not the thumbnail, but it's called Prestige Reef's Awesome Standard Aqua H 2024. And the thumbnail is, I don't know if I haven't got the thumbnail to be fair, but that you will see in that video. I don't know if I did any B-roll footage with my proper camera.
At the show, they were competing with 3 Radions. If you think about it,
there's no B-roll footage. Yeah, those are the Radions. It's on the other tank.
Yeah, it's on the other tank over there.
That I will have had B-roll footage on one of my videos. Aqua. Anyway. If you want to go and see that, go and check out. That concludes the news. And I've lost the jingle button. And the reason I'm wrapping that up quickly is because we've gone past 2 hours.
That's all right.
Was there anything else you wanted to say to the good people of the internet?
No, someone asked a minute ago. I don't know where it is. When I'm shipping cars again, it'll probably. I like to leave the first week of January just because of all the backlog from presents and stuff.
Yeah.
And then obviously it just depends on the temperature. But pretty much the first week in January, if it's okay, I'll probably do a couple of tester boxes. No one ever like loses out anyway. So like even if you were that tester box, if I would cover it if it was something went wrong. But Christmas, this is another reason I don't like Christmas, because Christmas like makes it so that boxes don't arrive on time. So
Yeah.
that is genuinely a problem for me, where people are going, look, I've got money to spend and I can't spend it with you, and I'm going, look, I have to close at like the 12th of December. I think it was roughly around. It gives me a lot of anxiety. I leave the website open, but I'm like, please don't buy anything. So,
I've been corrected. Flaming Beaker says, I think the AO Prime is 54 watts. I've just checked. You're right. It's 55 watts. So you're right. It's slightly more. But there you go. Another reason to hate Christmas.
Yes. And we'll finish there.
Right. Cool. Thank you all for joining, guys. And we'll see you next week.
See you later. Bye.